Hello, very good morning, good evening. Welcome to the evening bulletin, live and direct from our studios from the 10th Avenue Extension, Great Estate, Nungwa at Dogono. And that brings us, we bring in you all the latest stories, development stories making headlines across the country. But first, we take a look at the news headlines.
Supreme Court to rule Friday on challenge to Chief Justice's legal vacation directives. In business, $15.59 billion Eurobond borrowing fueled Ghana's debt crisis. And on the international front, at least 15 killed in Kyiv as Ukraine grapples with air defense shortages.
And tonight we'll bring you the major national stories, the latest from the economy and the business community development from across the globe, an update from the world of sports and entertainment. We have a packed bulletin with the stories you need to know and the issues you'll be talking about. I'll bring you details of the story right after the break. My name is El Samuels. The news is also live across all our social media handles on MBN 360. So let's get straight to the bigger stories making the headlines. The Supreme Court is expected to rule tomorrow, Friday, on a legal challenge to directive issued by the Chief Justice concerning the legal vacation period.
The Supreme Court is set to deliver its ruling on Friday in a case challenging the Chief Justice's directives on the legal vacation. The case has attracted attention within the legal community, with the challenge seeking judicial determination on the directives and their application during the vacation period. The ruling is expected to clarify the matter and provide direction on the implementation of the Chief Justice's directives. More details are expected when the Supreme Court delivers its decision on Friday.
Well, we're dealing with it here, and it's for all citizens to ensure that your right is also upheld. It's been adjourned to tomorrow 10 o'clock for the ruling to be made, the ruling on the injunction application.
Thank you.
Now, moving on away from the court, Ghana has secured a backing of Russian Academy of Sciences to advance the President John Dramani Mahama's industrialization agenda, with both sides agreeing to deepen cooperation aimed at ending the export of raw materials by 2030.
Ghana's drive to stop exporting raw materials is receiving a boost from Russia following an agreement between the government and the Russian Academy of Sciences to support industrialization and value addition. The partnership was announced by Foreign Affairs Minister Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa after his delegation engaged the Institute for African Studies of the Russian Academy of Sciences in Moscow. The collaboration is expected to support Ghana's efforts to process resources such as gold, bauxite, and lithium locally before export, creating more jobs and retaining greater value within the domestic economy. The partnership will also cover research into reparatory justice and PhD scholarships for Ghanaian and Russian scholars. The development comes as President Mahama pushes for an end to raw mineral exports by 2030, arguing that Ghana must move beyond extracting resources to processing and manufacturing higher value products locally. The key test, however, will be whether the new cooperation translates into actual processing plants, investment, jobs, and increased value from Ghana's mineral wealth.
Now to the Education Ministry, where the Education Minister Haruna Idrisu is calling for greater focus on foundational learning, stressing that getting children into schools must translate into improving learning outcomes.
The Minister for Education, Haruna Idrisu, says Ghana's education system must place greater emphasis on foundational learning, particularly the basic skills children need to succeed throughout their education. He says expanding access to education is not enough if children leave the classroom without strong abilities in reading, writing, and numeracy. The minister's call comes amid concerns over learning outcomes and the need to transform Ghana into what he describes as a learning nation. Mr. Idrisu is urging stronger attention to the early stages of education, where children develop the fundamental skills that provide the foundation for higher learning. The focus, he says, should therefore move beyond enrollment figures to ensuring that every child is actually learning and acquiring the skills needed for life and future work. The call puts renewed emphasis on the quality of basic education and the need for policies that deliver measurable improvements in classroom learning.
Now to the extractive sector, the Ghana Mine Workers Union is demanding immediate release of funds belonging to more than 19,000 miners whose savings remain locked up in financial institutions affected by the Bank of Ghana's financial sector cleanup.
The Ghana Mine Workers Union is mounting pressure on government and the Bank of Ghana over the continued delay in releasing funds belonging to more than 19,000 miners. The affected miners have had their savings locked up in financial institutions that collapsed during the financial sector cleanup. The union says the prolonged delay has caused financial hardship for its members, many of whom depend on their savings for their livelihoods and retirement security. The Mine Workers Union is therefore calling for urgent action to ensure that the affected miners receive their funds. The latest protest revives concerns over unresolved claims arising from the financial sector cleanup and the need for mechanisms to recover funds from liquidated financial institutions. The union says it will continue to press for the release of the monies until its members receive.
We are demanding. We are demanding. Toboy. Yeah. We are demanding. Toboy. We are demanding. The governor of the Bank of Ghana owes us a responsibility under its enabling act to protect us.
Exactly so.
Unfortunately, they have failed.
Yes.
And so we are demanding that all our locked up funds in excess of 350 million Ghana cedis belonging to 19,000 members, miners of this country and their families. We are demanding every penny from the Bank of Ghana. Today, you have just about 150 members who are National Executive Council members. Our membership is in excess of 14,000. The next time we are here, we are coming with all the 19,000 members, both current and former. We are coming with our wives and our children. We are coming here with our husbands and our children. We are coming here with our grandparents, our grandmothers, our uncles and our aunties, because all of them depend on our life savings. Toboy. And so, as a law-abiding institution, the Ghana Mine Workers Union of the Trades Union Congress.
Moving away from the extractive sector, we go to the energy sector, where the Ghana Grid Company Limited, GRIDCO, has attributed Thursday morning widespread power outage to a major fault at the Akosombo Volta transmission line.
Ghana has experienced another widespread power outage, with GRIDCO blaming a major fault on the Akosombo Volta transmission line. GRIDCO says the fault occurred at about 4:30 Thursday morning, triggering the automatic shutdown of the Akosombo generating units and some thermal power plants. The company says the shutdown was activated by the power system's protection mechanisms to safeguard the stability of the National Interconnected Transmission System. Gridco engineers, working with other power sector agencies, immediately isolated the affected transmission line and began a systematic restoration of electricity. The company says power has already been restored to some affected areas, while technical teams continue working to reconnect the remaining customers. Gridco has apologized for the inconvenience and assured the public that efforts are underway to achieve full restoration as quickly and safely as possible. The latest disruption comes just weeks after a similar nationwide power system disturbance on July 29.
Now, moving away from that story, the Methodist Church Ghana is calling for decisive and sustained action against illegal mining, warning that the destruction of the farmlands and pollution of water bodies poses a serious threat to Ghana's future.
The Methodist Church Ghana says the fight against Galamsey must move beyond prayers, statements, and empty slogans to concrete and measurable action. Presiding Bishop of the Church, Most Reverend Professor Johnson Kwabena Asamoah-Gyedu says the destruction of the arable lands and pollution of water bodies through illegal mining demand a stronger response from both the Church and society. Speaking at the opening of the Methodist Church Ghana's 52nd conference, the presiding bishop said recent devastating floods had exposed weaknesses in how Christians understand their responsibility to protect the environment. He called on religious leaders to take a more active role in addressing environmental challenges, stressing that the church's prophetic responsibility must translate into practical action. The Methodist Church says protecting Ghana's natural resources requires collective responsibility, stronger enforcement, and sustained commitments to ending the Galamsey menace.
The recent devastating deluge in the country exposed the inadequate conception of Christian stewardship and responsibility that we have worked with. The continued devastations of arable lands and pollution of water bodies through illegal small-scale mining must be seen as part of our prophetic challenge with respect to ministry and mission. Conference decisions on reports must be broad, thorough, and prayerfully debated and implemented in a way that synchronizes with what God has called us to accomplish in the world. This would be in tandem with our mission statement to equip the church for ministry to the world through the demonstration of Christian faith and love. In working towards such a mission, our common aim and ambition ought to be to pursue ministry from holistic perspectives. Our vision and mission statements must not remain empty slogans. We must pray about them, work towards them, and consciously look out for measurable outcomes on how effective we have been in the discharge of our duties as a church.
And now from the major stories, we now turn our attention to the business and the economy sector. From the market and financial development to policy affecting businesses and consumers, we bring you the latest from Ghana's business space. Standing by is now Dede Gogo. Right after the break, he brings you with the latest.
Let me introduce you to Farm Global Company Limited. At Farm Global, we offer you a variety of groceries and provisions to choose from. Cosmetics, perfumes, bedsheets, undies, boxes, you can mention all. This is our perfume stand, and we have variety of perfumes you can choose from for yourself and your loved ones. We cover Latapa, Fragrance World, and quality perfumes that will last long on your body. On our cosmetic section, We have variety of lotions, creams, hair pomades that can keep you going. Let your feet do the talking and your hands do the showcasing. Your babies are not left out. We got you covered. At Farm Global, we make shopping a beautiful experience for you and your family. You can be at home, send your list and get it delivered for free. Yes, for free. We know you can pay for it, but we want to show appreciation. We bring everything to you at your doorstep. Locate Farm Global on the Lungwa-Boade Road, just opposite Redeemer Chemist. Call us on 0592 0999 52 or 050 384 3633. Farm Global, fast, reliable, and convenient.
Welcome back from that break. You're still watching Mega News at 6 p.m. and this is the business news with me, Nadi de Gugu. In business, Ghana's debt crisis was significantly worsened by years of heavy Eurobond borrowing, with the country raising about $15.59 billion through international bond issuances, placing additional pressure on public financing and debt services.
Ghana's reliance on Eurobond borrowing has been identified as a major contributor to the country's debt crisis, with successive governments raising about $15.59 billion from international capital markets. The borrowing provided financing for government programs and budgetary needs, but also increased the country's exposure to foreign currency debt and rising debt servicing costs. As global interest rates increased and the cedi came under pressure, the cost of servicing Ghana's external debt became increasingly difficult. The resulting fiscal pressures contributed to Ghana's debt restructuring program and its engagement with the International Monetary Fund for financial support. The debate now centers on whether Ghana can break from the cycle of excessive borrowing and redirect future financing towards productive investment capable of generating growth and sustainable revenue. The latest figures have renewed calls for stronger fiscal discipline, greater transparency in public borrowing, and tighter controls to ensure that borrowed funds deliver measurable economic returns.
Still in business, retail investor activity on the Ghana Stock Exchange has surged dramatically, with average monthly trades rising from about 25,000 last year to 300,000 this year.
There is a renewed excitement on Ghana's capital markets as retail investors increasingly turn to the Ghana Stock Exchange in search of investment opportunities. The managing director of the GSE, Abna Amwa, says the average number of trades executed each month has jumped from about 25,000 last year to 300,000 this year, a 12-fold increase. The surge comes alongside a strong performance by listed equities, with the GSE Composite Index gaining 73% year-to-date as of August 18. Trading volumes and the total value of transactions have also doubled compared with the same period last year. The renewed activity follows the return of new listings after a prolonged period of limited initial public offerings, with First Atlantic Bank, Zen Petroleum and Casapreco among companies contributing to the revival. The GSE says the growing participation could deepen market liquidity and provide businesses with greater access to long-term capital. The key question now is whether this renewed investor confidence can be sustained and translate into a deeper, more vibrant Ghanaian capital market.
That's all for today on the business segment. Up next is sports and entertainment with Wendy Lati.
Mfitiasie no. Mene ne kunu eware wo odro ene asumdwe kwan so.
Ya wa wie na chi no. Mene kwachu ba hotel papa bi say be sepeyo.
What? A team from Sokra na maye.
Bibia wo Nyankopon sem.
Ekoba ne sa me kunu antena se.
Edro botum waje wo. Eye EDEC SM Bitters.
Waa. Eni gia befi. We na me de yem Bible. EDEC SM Bitters. Timase mama me.
Sa wa worry mu eni je bewie wo paya.
Na ye kamfo EDEC SM Bitters.
Mrs. Wa oyem yo nyina monno me no. Okọ one.
Welcome back from the break. It's still the Mega News at 6 on MBN TV. I am Wendy Lati. And now on the sports desk, Sports and Recreation Minister Kofi Adams has raised concerns over the lack of visibility and publicity surrounding the upcoming Ghana Premier League season, questioning who the league is actually promoting to attract supporters.
Sports and Recreation Minister Kofi Adams is challenging Ghanaian football authorities to do more to promote the Ghana Premier League and its players. Speaking at Ghana Football Association's 32nd Ordinary Congress, the minister questioned who exactly Ghanaians are being asked to watch as the new league sessions approaches. He wants to know who the league star players are, whose jersey young supporters should be excited to buy, and which personalities are being promoted as the faces of Ghanaian football. Mr. Adams says Ghanaian Premier League once had players such as Charles Taylor, Don Bote, Ismail Ado, and Stephen Oduro, whose performances and rivalries captured imagination of supporters. He argues that despite the explosion of media and digital platforms, clubs are not doing enough to market their players and build recognizable football personalities. The 2026-2027 Ghana Premier League sections is scheduled to kick off on September 5th with Port City FC taking on Ashanti Gold.
The Colombians, we engaged some of them. You know what? They said at the last World Cup, immediately it ended, they started saving towards the next World Cup. Wherever it will go, they will go. Do we have that kind of environment? We need to create it. It can't appear as magic. It has to be created. You, him, me, the camera people at the back there, the media, all of us would have to work in tandem to create that kind of atmosphere. It's not a one woman or one man's job. Our league is competing with the English Premier League, the Championship League, TikTok, streaming platforms, gaming, and every other form of entertainment available on the mobile phone. We are competing with all these platforms. So don't think you are alone. That is why you must do things to attract. Have you seen any butterfly move to any plant without flowers or fruit? So you need to create something to attract them. They don't owe you. We actually have a responsibility towards them.
And away from the sports and recreation minister, we move to the entertainment segment when Netflix is facing a trademark lawsuit from US Christian metal band Demon Hunter over the name of its hit animated film K-pop Demon Hunters.
Christian metal band Demon Hunter has sued Netflix Studios and concert promoter AEG Presents in a California federal court alleging trademark infringement over K-pop Demon Hunters. The band, which has used the Demon Hunters name since the early 2000s, says Netflix's expansion of the successful animated film into music, merchandise, and a planned global concert tour creates a sustainable likelihood of customer confusion. The lawsuit cites an alleged case in which a customer spent about $500 on concert tickets, believing the event was connected to K-pop franchise. Demon Hunter is asking the court to stop Netflix and its partners from using the disputed name for music, live performances, and merchandise, as well as seeking damages and other relief. The case was filed on August 18, 2026, and the allegations have yet to be tested in court. Netflix and AEG Presents had not publicly responded to the complaint at the time of reporting.
That's all for today on sports and entertainment. Up next is the international news.
From the depths of my heart, I give you praise for the things you have done for me in my life.
For 30 remarkable years, Maranatha Power Ministries International has been changing lives, transforming communities, and spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ across the nations. From drilling clean water wells for deprived communities to establishing schools that shape future generations. From medical missions that restore hope to Christmas outreaches that bring joy. From powerful crusades to planting churches and raising disciples. Maranatha Power Ministries International remain committed to touching lives with the love of Christ. 30 years of grace, 30 years of impact, 30 years of kingdom advancement. Do not miss the 30th anniversary of Maranatha Power Ministries International.
Welcome back to the Mega News at 6 on MBN TV. You've gotten updated on the latest from the world of business, sports, and entertainment. Now we turn our attention to the foreign front, where at least 15 people have been killed and dozens injured after Russia launched a massive overnight missiles and drone attack on Kiev and surrounding areas as Ukraine continues to struggle with a shortage of critical air defense interceptors.
At least 15 people have been killed in one of the heaviest Russian aerial assaults on Kyiv in recent months. The overnight barrage involved dozens of ballistic, cruise, and hypersonic missiles, alongside 168 drones striking several parts of the Ukrainian capital and surrounding region. Residential buildings, a school, and a children's hospital were among facilities damaged, with more than 40 people reported injured. Ukraine's Air Force says it intercepted most of the drones and cruise missiles, but the country's ability to stop ballistic missiles remains severely limited by a shortage of US-made Patriot interceptor missiles. President Volodymyr Zelensky has renewed calls on Ukraine's allies to urgently provide more air defense systems, warning that the shortage is costing civilian lives. The latest attack comes amid intensified Russian aerial strikes against Ukraine, with Kyiv increasingly vulnerable to ballistic missiles that its existing defenses cannot reliably intercept. Ukrainian authorities say rescue operations are continuing and the casualty figures could rise as emergency crews search damaged buildings.
Away from the Russia-Ukraine war to African story where former Zambian cabinet minister has been shot dead during a security operation at the home of opposition leader Brian Mudaba days of the Zambia's presidential election. Police says the former minister was killed during an exchange of gunfire.
Former Zambian minister Mutotwe Kafwaya has been killed during a security raid at the residence of opposition leader Brian Mundubile in Lusaka. Police say the 49-year-old former transport minister was fatally wounded during an exchange of fire between security forces and unidentified individuals during the operation on August 14, a day after Zambia's presidential election. Authorities say the Joint Security Task Force encountered gunfire and resistance before returning fire. A firearm was reportedly recovered and 11 people were arrested during the operation. Mundubile, who finished second in the presidential election, has rejected government allegations that his political alliance was involved in militia or insurgent activities. The opposition has also raised concerns over the raid and treatment of its members. President Hakainde Hichilema has been declared the winner of the election with about 60% of the vote, while Mundubile secured about 38%. The opposition leader says he will challenge the results in court, citing serious irregularities. The United Nations Human Rights Chief has meanwhile called on Zambian authorities to respect due process and avoid arbitrary arrest amid growing tensions following the election.
And that brings us to the end of the mega news at 6 on MBN TV. From the major stories here in Ghana and across the world, sports and entertainment, and its update. We take a second look at our top stories.
Supreme Court to rule Friday on challenge to Chief Justice's legal vacation directives. In business, $15.59 billion Eurobond borrowing fueled Ghana's debt crisis. And on the international front, at least 15 killed in Kyiv as Ukraine grapples with air defense shortages.
Thank you for watching and also for making time with us on MBN TV, your trusted source of news. My name is El Samuels, business with Nadede Gogo, sports entertainment with Wendy Nadulate. Stay with us for more news, same time tomorrow. We'll be back. Do have a good evening.